Hey, what's up, guys? Oh my god, I'm making a video. I'm making this video because, as you probably heard by now, the creator of Dragon Ball, Dr. Slump, Sandman, Akira Toriyama, has passed away. It seems that he died from a blood clot to his brain on March 1st, and now they're officially announcing it after his funeral and everything. What I guess I really want to say is, thank you. I mean, we know that he changed the game. In particular, the shonen manga, shonen anime game. You know, before Dragon Ball, shonen characters were big buff Kenshiro, Fist of the North Star, Jonathan Joseph, buff style characters. And you also didn't see characters grow up, right? They didn't go from little boy to adult and then continue the stories, right? And it became cool later on in the West to kind of shit on Dragon Ball and all this kind of stuff. But everything after was influenced and copying and referencing things that he did. Like, he changed the game forever because he was the one who was doing it first. All of the tropes, I mean, not all of them, but a lot of the tropes, a lot of the power ups, the sort of way that what shonen became was essentially because of him. A lot of it, a lot of the heavy lifting was done by him. And for me personally, and I think I may have mentioned it somewhere on this channel in one of my videos, but he had a direct influence on my life. I'm in Japan. I've been in Japan for almost 16 years. And I can attribute that to Dragon Ball directly. You know, being introduced in 1996 at 11 years old to Dragon Ball from my karate teacher, and this was back before Funimation, before when it was available on Cartoon Network. This is when, you know, getting those fan subs, those VHS fan subs, and watching it in Japanese with fan subbed subtitles on, you know, VHS tapes. Basically, my karate instructor, he came into the school one day. He was wearing a Dragon Ball t-shirt. I had seen something like Dragon Ball. It was Dragon Ball, and I saw it in the Electronic Gaming Monthly magazine. For those who are old enough to remember that, it was in the back. They had like a Super Famicom section, which was Super Nintendo, Japanese Super Nintendo, and like a From Japan section. And I saw a picture. It was Super Saiyan Goku. I didn't know what that was at the time, but I knew I had seen it in the magazine. I told him, I said, hey, I saw that in the magazine. What is that? And it was a Cell Saga t-shirt, and he explained to me the story. And of course, at 11 years old, I thought it was the coolest thing ever, and so I started seeking it out. So then, after watching a bunch of the Japanese VHS fan subs, when I became a high school student, my high school had Japanese. I took Japanese, I enjoyed it. Then I went to college, and I wanted to study abroad while I was in college, so I studied abroad. Went to Japan, my first time in Japan, did that. That was great. Came back to America, graduated, wanted to go back to Japan for work, went back to Japan in 2008, and I've been here ever since. All of that, all of that gets traced to Akira Toriyama and Dragon Ball. Getting introduced to Dragon Ball and then opening me up to anime and manga as a whole from Dragon Ball, which was for a lot of people. But for most people, it was through Funimation and being on Cartoon Network and things like that, which is also cool. So I didn't know him personally. He didn't know who I was. But I was one of the millions of people who he influenced. I mean, heck, the top selling manga of all time, One Piece. Oda loved this man, right? He loved Dragon Ball. That was his biggest inspiration growing up. So, you know, on the top end, you got Oda. On the very, very minuscule, tiny end, you got people like me, and then vast numbers of people in between. So I don't care about the hate people want to give it. Was it perfect? No, it was not perfect, but that's not the point. The point was it was enjoyable. He made something that was cool that everyone just loved. And yeah, I guess just thank you. And I think another thing is that with his death and just some other things I've been seeing recently, you know, he left his mark on the world forever, right? Dragon Ball isn't going anywhere. People today, kids today still know what it is. And they are 30 years removed from it ending, and they still know what it is. And I guess there are things that I've been slacking on and not putting my heart into and to make my own life better And I'm like, man, you really only got one life. And no, not all of us are gonna be someone like Toriyama who changed the game, right? Who changed the world. But man, I know for me, I gotta focus on the things that I want and just go get them. Because life's too short for this shit, man. He was 68, and a 68-year-old Japanese man. I mean, for all intents and purposes, he normally would have a good 20 more years left, possibly even more. And so now I'm just rambling, but I guess fuck it, man. We got one life. Let's just go get it. Let's just go after it. Go get it. Cause yeah, we could walk outside and get hit by a bus, or it could just end. So, Toriyama got to live his life at his fullest potential. He got to see what he was able to ultimately accomplish. And not many of us can say that, and I don't want to be one of those people that doesn't do that. So yeah, I mean, that's basically it, guys. Anyway, Toriyama, thank you.